LGD lost one. For all the games that they lost, there was one common theme, because it was all three of the times was when their mid position was put on a passive hero. Think Razor, think Viper, think DK. And I think that is it is only fitting for us to look at that mid matchup a little bit better, because that is also our featured matchup, maybe versus No One. I know No One is considered to be the best mid player in the world, but surely Somnus comes pretty close, Bulldog.
Maybe can maybe beat No One, but No One can beat No One. So,
whoa,
that sounds like a fortune cookie.
Oy.
A really bad one.
Most of them are.
That's true. They've gone downhill.
Yeah, but No One, as you said, is probably the most mechanically skilled player in the world, honestly. But at the same time, maybe you can't underestimate him as well. He's playing on the best Chinese team in the world. And of course, it's going to be a very good matchup. Depends on the heroes to get as well and so on. But yeah, they're very even, for sure.
How important is it to get them on an active hero, Trent?
I mean, you saw last game. That was something, eh? Miracle being given like such an active hero like the Tinker like that, where you just can completely go off in that mid game. So I don't know. No One, when I tend to think about him, it is something like that. Storm Spirit plays exceptionally well. His Templar Assassin, maybe one of his most notable ones. So that's what I'm looking for. Whenever a VP plays, they tend to have kind of like this whole idea of someone is the anchor. Usually Ramses is this guy who's going to kind of win you that game if things go a little shaky in the mid game. And then you have two people who are working real hard to get a lot of stuff done. At the beginning, usually like that Pasha Pangolier maybe, where he's dancing all around getting some kills. I know you love that hero.
Don't tease me, Trent, please. Yeah. I don't think I've had one Pango game since I've been on any of my panel games.
Not on your panel, at least not on my panel. So.
Well, we've seen Bloodseeker countering that now as well.
Yep,
so
true. Yeah, that's not fun.
I'm saying LGD would definitely pick that up for sure.
The support Zeus as well, kind of terrifying.
Both of the
like
teams
that's something.
Are playing Bloodseeker. I would not be surprised if we see this hero this game, or this series.
Surely it's going to get banned. We've seen it getting banned.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of questions in terms of like the bans, especially the first phase, who you want to prioritize, right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm Virtus.pro, I'm just looking at FY. I feel like he's been a standout player in a lot of these games. Of course, a lot of teams have given them Naga, which has really turned out to be a pretty poor decision, I would say.
Yes.
So past that, though, he's been very good on the clockwork. They work extremely well around the vision that he's going to provide on either of those heroes. He just chucks flares the whole game on clockwork, and he sends illusions everywhere on Naga, and they play around that very well. The Elder Titan, kind of that last big one for him that can provide a very similar playstyle.
And of course, the hero that he's been getting most credit for throughout his career, the Rubik.
Yeah.
For a long period, he was considered the best Rubik in the world. I think there's now a couple of players that are rivaling him. For example, Yapsor comes to mind. But we did see him playing a Rubik earlier on, and that was just the FY show, really.
And
so
I think that was after those 3 bans. I think it was a Naga, Clock, and Elder Titan ban, and they just get Rubik. You're like, man, what do you do against this guy?
Right?
Man.
You can't ban him out. If you're lucky, you get him to play something like a Coddle, because that's the hero he can't shine on. We saw him playing Coddle. Was that the only game they lost?
Yes, that was the only game they lost.
Yeah, don't give him Coddle. Pick him something more active, something that more flashy.
Was that
and
on
he'll
him,
take
though,
over.
really?
Yeah, totally on him.
All right, with that.
I've been really impressed, believe it or not. Of course, only Trent will understand the reasoning, because I'm a carry player. Well, sure, NA. I don't play support. I hate support.
You play Centaur?
Not anymore. He's garbage. But X-Nova's Bane has been super impressive, actually. And they've been getting it pretty consistently as well. So looking to see if he'll be able to pick that up again this time around.
Impressive Bane players.
Yes.
That's quite the feat.
I think the reason it's really impressive for me is because that hero just, every cast animation is like a struggle, you know? So you have to have amazing coordination with your team and great positioning as a support player. So that's the one time I'm going to say support is cool.
Okay. I mean, I would agree. I think him and PPD especially standing out on the Bane so far this tournament.
Sure.
So
PPD standing out?
Excuse me.
I think that's how you know he's real good.
I think Solo has something to say about that, because he plays a lot of Bane as well. And I think that is going to be one of the more exciting things about this series, when you're saying, okay, you know what, VP is going to ban out all of FY's heroes. What's going to be left in terms of the support pool? Because it's not just important for FY, but what's Roger going to play? are we going to see him on those heroes? And basically, Solo and Xnova have a little bit of the same hero pool as well. So it's going to be, there's some very highly contested heroes in this one.
So who's going to get the Bane? Who's going to win?
Wow, such excitement here at the Super Major.
It's got like 65% win rate or something like that, so it's definitely good. And as you mentioned, the positioning on this hero is so crucial, because if you do get that ult, we see sometimes it just wins a team fight. You get a full duration ult on Bane, you win the fight, and it's like, all right, sure.
Have you ever seen somebody take the 7-second duration for Fiend's Grip?
No, I've seen the shackle on Shadow Shaman before. That was pretty hilarious. I want to see somebody misclick and then ends up winning them the game.
What level is that?
I think it's 25.
Yeah,
right?
when's Bane going to get level 25 ever? All right. Jen is already banned out. That was one of the heroes I was looking forward to seeing Roger on, but that's not going to happen. We got
the Bane.
The Bane is still in. And we got the only non-support is the Lycan getting banned out there.
I think VP gave away Wisp once this tournament, I believe.
Don't do it.
Yeah, to TNC, and VP lost that game.
Oh my lord, it is open. All right. See if LGD wants to play it or not.
Sure.
Are they a big IO team player?
Everyone is.
Yeah,
Everyone
FY for sure.
Yeah.
And we've seen teams pick heroes that are really popular, even though they haven't really gotten to play it. Like Brood. Awful with Brood, some of these teams, apparently.
Yeah.
That was
got to be able to play the hero.
Yeah. Let's not.
If they get the Wisp, I'm looking for Disruptor as first 2 for Virtus.pro, because Solo, one of the best Disruptors in the world, and pretty good against IO, obviously.
So obviously VP coming in here with an IO opener plan. You know that if you are second pick, there is no doubt that they will take the IO if you leave it in. Yeah. I think that's 100% guaranteed. So interested to see exactly what their plan is with the 2-3. Any particular counter IO heroes banned out? I'd say the Warlock considered decent if you don't want the Disruptor, and then the Sand King also pretty good in terms of like stunning the IO +1. So perhaps PSG.LGD also prepping for that a little bit here.
I think Undying is going to be a hotly contested pick as well for probably the second phase, if anything. I'd love to see some Roger Undying.
We got something that no one has been playing a lot is the DP. It's really well rounded for his team, and he always wins the lane. He has all that Roche potential and so on, but I'm not sure if they want to pick it against the Wisp. You can also just go the Leshrac, which is a bit more open, and the Sand King. Oh, that's banned actually. Never mind.
For a team that, you know, normally you kind of could have expected that the IO was going to get picked up, right? They're taking a very long time thinking about picking Beastmaster, which is a fairly obvious pick still.
They're probably thinking down the line, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
more
maybe they just go to strong laners as well, just go to Bane still. Yeah. You know, it's still open, that lane.
For example, the Omni Bane was there, and that's been one of these things that like maybe there's some discussion of like, do you guys want to do it? Like, can we do the Omni Bane? Because that's been filthy. It's looked very good for them in a dual offlane scenario, but instead it is that Beastmaster and the Death Prophet.
All right. 2 cores right off the bat.
Are these the boring heroes you were discussing that they were losing with?
No.
We don't count DP in there?
I mean, DP is a boring hero.
You made a boring hero category and DP's not in it? I don't know how I feel about this classification anymore.
I mean, at least DP is active. She makes stuff happen.
No one looks great.
Yeah.
He gets a blink Yules and you're like, wow, this is like a puck. Making these plays, the silences, I like it.
I look at DP as like a DK. Really bad this tournament, but teams like VP can actually play it, so I don't hate it.
Gyro. IO Gyro.
This is the new combo, right?
Yeah, and the Ags, of course, at level 15, pretty nasty.
Of course, some people buy the Ags in addition to having Wisp on their team.
Yep.
That was questionable.
We'll see if that happens again.
Is that Illidan? Did that?
I think it might have been.
Was it Spirit? I think so.
It was someone who lost. I know that.
Well, that's half the teams now.
It's Spirit though. They sometimes make some questionable plays. It happens for that team. We had the Gyro. All right, maybe Virtus.pro is thinking like, hey, we'll give away the Wisp because maybe puts them out of their comfort zone, and they probably never get to scrim it either because Wisp is always banned, and even in officials bans, it's like, hey, I have the Wisp. You probably don't play it a lot. You're Chinese. Yep. So here, have it.
Always been kind of a classic.
It's funny coming from that last series how Skywrath has not been even looked at yet.
Yep.
Yeah, and we all knew it was going to be banned like first phase, eh?
I mean, it is really good with Beastmaster, obviously.
10 seconds remaining. For sure.
It's going to be a nice way to kill IO right off the bat.
We still go for the Disruptor, as you mentioned. One of those two supports should probably be picked up.
We did have Roger play it earlier in this tournament, so it's not like Virtus.pro can't pick it anymore. Yeah. We'll see if PSG.LGD gives it any ban prior, though.
I still like to focus on the Morphling for sure. I think that is the #1 Ramses hero, win us the game. Yep. I don't think anything's really quite on that same level for him. you know, like the life stealer and stuff maybe in past patches.
Oh, there's this guy.
Oh, they banned.
By the way, Ramses sometimes also plays Death Prophet, so we got to keep that in mind as well.
He also plays Beastmaster. That used to be one of his big heroes, which was kind of interesting.
That was
safe
way
lane
back,
Beastmaster,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done it a couple times this year. Whipped it out, you know.
Whipped it
dusted it
out.
off. Yeah. Whipped out a victory, so it was okay.
Slark ban coming
10
from
seconds
VP
remaining.
themselves.
What do you guys consider good carries versus Gyro? Because Gyro is just like one of those heroes. This feels like it's always okay to pick.
There really
Very
is
good
no-
early game hero.
I don't think there's any really good hero against it. One of the heroes, of course, is Morphling, because you can steal that flag cannon, which is banned out. But yeah, it's just, as you said, just a well-rounded hero, and you don't really counter that hero.
In general, I think like trying to get on top of him comes out like the life stealer's kind of fallen off a little bit,
So
but he used to
Centaur?
be our answer.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the carry
Could
Centaur.
go Troll as well, just beat him down.
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
possible hero as well.
Anyone who can like capitalize on top of the roar would be nice, just because currently they don't have a whole lot of burst damage to go with that. You know, Virtus.pro, of course, a team still willing to whip out the Sven every once in a while.
It's a lot of whipping.
I know. Just for you, buddy.
Well, we have not yet had a Sven this tournament.
Well, I mean, we got to get some of these heroes out here.
True,
Witch
I agree.
Doctor, we have not seen that. This is a hero that was picked all the time, but since the nerf to the Melodic, not very good.
Yeah.
Way too
Well,
long cooldown.
Different. Now we move into the heal, right? That
Yeah.
seems to be his main focus. The Warlock's already banned out.
Double
so
heal with the Wisp.
Yeah.
Insane.
Very much so.
Tethered Witch Doctor for Ags,
10
and then
seconds
immediately
remaining.
switch to Gyrocopter.
You just
It's good. It's pretty good this
5
game because
seconds
so far
remaining.
Virtus.pro's got very slow damage, so you can heal it up quickly with the Witch Doctor.
LGD's
What we've
turn
got.
to pick.
It's a clockwork.
Okay.
a lot of control right now from Virtus.pro. The roar, the hook shot, all this kind of like longer range follow-up for the Jakiro to go in with.
Yeah.
It was very good against this IO. You know, if you have any sort of a poor position during these team fights, it will be punished.
Yeah, it's good. But the problem with IO right now, it's one of the things is you keep someone tethered
10 seconds
forever now, and then you hook him, and then it's like, oh, you untether, and then you tether someone else, because
5 seconds
you keep someone
remaining.
perma-tethered now. This is a change they made, so you can just refresh it and just re-tether someone else and get out of the cogs. Not sure why that's how it works. Because you maybe when you
That'll
end the
probably
tether,
be the
you just
next
go on
change.
cooldown.
Yeah, the Spirit Breaker effect.
Yeah.
There's the Ember Spirit. So heroes that for Virtus.pro, is there perhaps a tiny chance that they go for the Clinks, which I see as the standard one of the IO counters? You can very easily kill IO, obviously. There's Witch Doctor to die, you naturally build an Orchid, so you can kill Ember.
I think maybe the Weaver would be a little more likely in that scenario, but similar idea is possible for sure.
Weaver used to be really good against Wisp because you bought the Diffusal Blade, but now that you have Ghost Scepter, that doesn't get removed anymore, so it's not as good. It's not really the same.
It's true. Does
What
have
is
that like
the-
super high burst
What's
though.
the reasoning with the Ember? They have so much control.
10 seconds remaining.
Kind of like a an anchor hero, I guess, in their own
5
right, like some way
seconds
for them to
remaining.
just kind of win the game. They're like condition of just like if you get to a certain point, we win.
They're just going to pair it up with Darkseer and go all 2014 on our
Yeah. Bit of ratting across the whole map there.
Yeah.
I do like the Legion ban though, in terms of someone who could help counter up against the Beastmaster. It's not bad.
Legion. Yeah, that's a puke hero.
Yeah, you don't like that.
Pick,
Yeah,
you
he's
don't
pretty
pick
garbage.
Legion. I think it's 04, 05. It's not good. Even if it's a good Legion game, it's still a
LGD's
bad
turn.
Legion.
It's our Bat Rider effect. Is
Yeah.
that what I'm hearing?
Virtus.pro's
Yeah.
turn to pick.
The
Oh.
Blood Seeker. Sure. It's kind of rough now, because if you're VP now, what do you pick as a carry here?
Yeah, this lineup's looking a little awkward now.
'Cause you can't move as you carry, and yeah.
Feels like there's pressure to 5-man up against the IO, but they have a lot of side split with like the Ember and then the IO +1, so you want to get things knocked down early when
10
LGD are still trying to get going. I guess you try and focus on the Bloodseeker, right? Because if Bloodseeker is a poor lane,
5
they
seconds
don't really
remaining.
have a whole lot going for
Let's
them
get
right
some
now.
Wraith King,
Any-
guys. Wraith King versus Bloodseeker.
Yeah.
Why
Or
is
you
saw
know
that.
what? Even Centaur.
Why?
Centaur Blade
How is
Mail,
that even-
yes.
So anyway, you can pick Brood here. We know VP likes it. Not sure how it matches up against Bloodseeker. Could be pretty good against him. They don't really have any
Yeah.
hard counters against Brood, but yeah, it doesn't really look that good for a lineup though. And yeah, you just ult the Brood, but Brood could just snowball the game as well.
I like that we see Ramses talking. It's like, what do you want to play, Ramses? And he's like, well, I don't really know.
Everyone's deep in thought.
Yeah, they got 50 seconds to contemplate their last pick.
Solo's really listening to some ideas here. He's not saying anything.
Yeah.
Isn't it Ramses that's drafting a lot recently?
Yeah, I think Solo's on it right now, though. Or at least it looked like he was the one clicking.
Tinker.
Aha!
You may now
Tinker.
select
Okay.
your heroes.
They were watching.
Yeah, that
This
was
is
it.
a
That
weird
kind of
lineup.
feels like a, uh-oh, we're in a little bit of trouble
Yeah.
here. How can we win this game?
Ramses is like, I don't know what to play. Give me DP.
Yeah.
No one you choose. And I was like, okay, I'll try to copy Miracle from previous game. Does that mean that all of you are in favor of LGD for this first game of the series?
I'm in
No.
favor of
Ooh.
Wisp.
Are ya?
Simple.
That is
Yeah.
LGD.
I'm going against. I'm going for. I actually like the Tinker. I feel
Okay.
like it could be a good game.
No, it's not.
His lane
LGD.
matchups. It's good.
I don't know how you lose with Wisp anymore. I mean, it's an auto win.
Come on, you can do a VP. Beat the IO.
I
Yeah.
still think VP's going to win the series, but I think LGD takes game 1.
Fair enough. I wouldn't mind seeing 3 games. I don't think anybody would. I know that our commentators wouldn't. It is a match of superheroes, as we mentioned. Virtus.pro versus LGD. Who better to tell this story than Capitalists and Gods?
That's right, there is nobody better to tell this story. The heroic Capitalist and God's going to be taking you through Virtus.pro LGD. I mean, this is practically a grand finals matchup in its own right. These are probably the top 2 teams right now. Maybe you got to throw Liquid a bone since they just beat Secret after all. But these 2 teams have been on fire lately, Gods.
Yeah, we've seen them be absolutely unstoppable, just constantly matching up deep in these tournaments at several majors in a row, and it really feels like these are the 2 teams to beat right now, as much as Liquid are amazing and TI champions.
And I have to say, it's already going to be a bit spicy because we have Virtus.pro just giving away a Wisp and saying, for game 1, we're going to give you Wisp and we're going to beat you with it. And they're trying to counter it with the last pick, Tinker.
Yeah, you actually mentioned Tinker as one of the possible picks. The 7-man Ame tips coming in. Everyone is hyped to see Ame play some gyrocopter. This is going to be like an 8-man cast, I feel.
It really is. We just got to be silent when the chat wheel spam comes in.
Yeah.
When it comes off cooldown again, another 5 minutes.
So where were we? So yeah, you thought Tinker's a possible pick. What do you like about the Tinker this game, or what don't you like, I guess?
I think you like the matchup against the Gyrocopter, Wisp, and the Bloodseeker, right? Like you need one of those kind of like trump cards and a carry that can actually beat that. Most of the other traditional carries just aren't going to be able to outscale Gyrocopter with the Wisp. The bad part's going to be Ember Spirit, right? Ember's a great hunting hero against Tinker.
Yeah, Ember is on maybe as well. So if there's a player you want to put a lot of faith in to come up big and kind of counter the key playmaker in the Tinker, it's definitely the right player I feel like to have it on.
Yeah, this is the part that I love the most about this matchup is the mid lane. Because this is, at least in my opinion, this is 2 of the 3 best mid laner laning phase players in the game, right? I think no one and maybe, and you probably throw Paparazzi in that top 3. Samael a distant 4th or 5th place, something like that. But I think these 2 matchup is probably one of the most interesting mid matchups you could get.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys have been playing a bit as of late because of the tournament runs they've had, and it's been very back and forth, both having like some dominant performance. And it feels like even if this series goes 2-0 one way or the other, it's going to be some great games and great individual performances, particularly from those 2 players.
Now, while the Ember Spirit versus Tinker matchup is just going to be something that no one will have to be a little bit scared of later on to the game, the mid matchup should be pretty good for him, right?
Yeah, for Tinker, he's got the laser as a harass tool. He definitely should come out on top in terms of CS. There is a bit of a threat should rotations come that he can go down, but that kind of goes both ways. Any support rotation, there is kill threat on both sides.
Now, Virtus.pro opted for the Jakiro instead of like a Disruptor, a more classic counter to Wisp lineups. And we could see why. He's trying to buff up that laning phase. Jakiro probably being one of the best 5 positions to challenge aggro dual lanes. It's not the aggro dual lane you probably would have expected, though. Gyrocopter plus Witch Doctor, and the Wisp is going to spend his time at top lane with the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, interesting. They laned it this way on the LGD side, and it's so far, not really perhaps the lanes they wanted to are working out all too amazing for them.
Roger. Yeah. He's going to try and challenge despite the fact that Tether is on challenge already.
They're level 1 though. They feel very strong.
Yeah, that's true. And he does manage to get caught.
Chalice is trying to get that level 2.
Botcha into the back lines. FY does have a fresh Tether. He might have to break this, but he can't get away.
Oh man, great. I love that call from VP. They had a level advantage in that lane with the big creep wave under the tower. If the Eye of Bloodseeker hit level 2, suddenly you're looking at both Thirst as well as Spirits or potentially an Overcharge coming to play, and VP get punished there, but they just recognize the very momentary weakness in the LGD dual lane.
Now, that's going to only be worth it because it's First Blood, because our Beastmaster did have to TP back to base as a result, while the Wisp, meanwhile, just instantly TPs back in the lane, and now it's free farm for Bloodseeker for this next kind of minute-long period.
Yeah, I think, like you say, if that's just a kill later on, you trade all that regen and have to TP back to base, it's not worth it, but First Blood is a bit different.
And here comes the tips.
Yeah. We're gonna see
looks
this
like
all game long, it feels like. Man, Somnus is getting bodied by no one. He gets the solo kill. That is the Tinker over Ember advantage in the laning stage, and there we go. They're no longer tipping Ame.
I was going to say, like, no one didn't join in on the tipping. Well, that's why.
Yep.
No one was too busy winning his mid lane matchup against Maybe. And Teal will pass over his bottle to Roger, who will pop the Invis rune, and he'll give the bottle back sometime soon. Now, if maybe smart, maybe he checks out the bottle's missing, but he's going to go for the dive onto no one right now, but Roger's going to come in and capture this Ember Spirit inside of the Cogs, and now no one can sit outside, just trying to bang on Maybe. He's going to get pushed back by the Cogs, a little bit more damage from the battery assault as well, but the chains will allow Maybe to distance himself and get away, but it's still a loss for LGD, just because he now has to go back to base.
Yeah, this is all of a sudden looking very rough for the Ember Spirit. He's got this early belt of strength just to keep himself alive. You saw that Invis rune get picked up. He did have the defensive ward that gave rune vision there, but I don't think he actually expected the Clockwork to come back with the Invis because he was playing very high up on the enemy ramp.
And this is the danger of Virtus.pro, right? Like, VP are already kind of winning their laning phase. First Blood top, already have the mid matchup, which is very thoroughly being won by no one's Tinker. Virtus.pro, that's the way they've been dominating so many of these games lately, is winning in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, they seem to be the one team that can consistently win 2.5 to 3 lanes. Like, they'll win 2 lanes and go even in the third, and that's just like an instant win right there, and we're seeing it. They're kind of winning 2 lanes right now. The top lane's a bit of a draw, but that's your safe lane LGD Bloodseeker, even if it's Chalice playing it, so really feels very good for VP with how they have set things up.
And the funny part about it is this is all without Solo rotating, right? And usually Solo likes to be able to play that 5 position that moves around. His Disruptor probably moves around the map more than any other Disruptor I've seen, but he has to camp out in this bottom lane and try and challenge the Witch Doctor Gyrocopter, and he does just that. But now the Wisp coming in, Solo's in big time trouble. The missile lands on him. He has the Maledict still, and he should take out X-Nova. Does manage to get away thanks to the Restoration, but they do have the Cogs with the Death Prophet inside against that Gyrocopter, and FY can't possibly undo all of that damage.
Oh, by the way, mid lane, another kill. I don't know how that one happened, but no one just got a solo kill for the second time this game. Doesn't need the help. He's got 3 points in laser, 2 in the missiles. All that damage just taking Somnus by surprise. A full 2-level advantage over the Ember, who still isn't level 5 even after that range creep there. It is an absolute destruction in this mid lane from no one's Tinker.
And from a drafting perspective, this is probably one of the worst things that LGD could have done against VP, is set up with a hero that will have no good matchups, right? They have this Ember Spirit, and Tinker will match against all 3 of these cores pretty decently. If they put like Gyro mid to try and go against the Tinker, then Ember Spirit is still going to go into a Beastmaster or a Death Prophet lane, and that is still a losing scenario for you.
I think that's the big weakness with this LGD draft, picking the Gyro with the Ember, is you've got 2 cores that are both weak laners. We've seen Gyro really fall off in the laning stage, often lose his lane, struggle to get last hits because of his poor base damage and his reliance on getting levels. And Ember is also very easy to beat by a lot of matchups. Tinker in particular, one of the better ones as far as the laning stage goes. And this just puts a ton of pressure on LGD early on.
4-1 with a 2,000 gold lead, but they are going to try and catch no one. They'll run him down, manage to get the cast into the Maledict. Maybe he's just going to stay on top of him with the Flame Guard, and that's going to be an easy pickup. Now, Roger just came in, got the Cogs on X-Nova with the Marching Machines already out. So, even though he's dead, no one will help Roger get a counter kill.
Nice kill for LGD. Also gets Ember up to level 6 now, so this is where it can start getting a bit dangerous for Tinker. Definitely, even just a single support rotation should be enough to bring down No One's Tinker, and Roger will get some benefit from the experience and farm while he's gone. Solo top rune.
No
out here.
Flame Guard, so the kill is pretty slow to happen. Maybe Roger can actually save him. Remnant comes out, finally Flame Guard is activated. Now the Battery Assault is going to take that one down eventually, and maybe does not have the mana to be able to get another Remnant out, so he may die here, but the Paralyzing Cast actually pushing back No One and locking down Roger, who now runs into the Ancient stack that just came out to play because of the March.
Never fun, as it does look like LGD are going to perhaps consider using their bottom shrine here. This Ame Gyro really needs to get those levels here. That's kind of his comeback. He's not farmed particularly well in lane, but he can get level 6, ideally level 7 for the maxed out Rocket Barrage. He's got a lot of kill potential on most of these heroes on the map.
So here's a question for you guys. Do they move the maybe Ember Spirit around the map and try and get kills in the side lanes, or do you think they just focus on rotating onto mid nonstop?
Best case scenario is you're rotating onto mid, but you may decide it's just a low percentage kill.
Axe's Roar, Pasha getting that extra damage, max efficiency here play to make sure he gets the kill on the Chalice Bloodseeker.
Good use of the first Roar. All that phase boots, Blightstone, right-click damage from the Beastmaster proving to be a bit too much for the Bloodseeker to sustain against it.
Roger's caught Ame, and he tips him while he's stuck inside the cogs. Roger with the next level plays on the tip. And LGD can do nothing to save their Gyrocopter. LGD FY does have a haste room, but it's nothing.
The mid-game tips. That shows you've got some experience using those tips to pop up in that scoreboard to bust out a tip in the middle of a kill. Well, VP definitely having some fun with LGD, but need to be careful.
We almost have to travel on this Tinker. Ice Path doesn't land. Pasha doesn't have that Roar, so now he's going to be stuck behind his Tier 1 tower with mass rotation coming in, but he will manage to finish off Ame even as he dies. That was a worthwhile trade-off as long as they don't lose their Jakiro as well. Meanwhile, FY ends up going down to the bottom lane. And Chalice loses his extra movement speed to catch up to Solo.
Yeah.
So
Ame just doesn't need to kind of man up as much as he did there. He should have just kind of backed off and not traded hits there. He's trying to Rocket Barrage at Beastmaster, who had 4 creeps next to him. Once that homing missile hits, he can just keep on running and get back to safety, but unfortunately for him, he just really wants to commit to the kill knowing his team's rotating in, but dying and then getting the kill is definitely not worth it for him.
And now you've missed your timing, as the Ember Spirit versus Tinker matchup is like one of the best times for you is hunting down the Tinker before he has the Boots of Travel. But now he's got him, so you try and go on him. If he's tanking up, you just rearm TP out.
Yeah, we're going to have to see some rotations. Perhaps pre-Blink Dagger top lane, Roar on X-Nova. Should be an easy kill.
Turns around, does manage to get the Maledict off before he dies. Pasha has to fight underneath the Bloodright because he's ruptured right now. Maybe make sure that they do kill the Beastmaster. It was a little bit of a close call there with the axes. Maybe he's hunting for more. They do have FY slowing down Solo with the Wisp Spirits. That'll be enough for him maybe to catch him on just one Remnant. FY will take the kill instead.
Yeah, decent moves, particularly because they're going to get bounty runes. I don't actually think LGD intended that rotation around the bounty runes. They got the kills and they like backed away from it, and then they're like, wait a second. Bounty runes are here, but fighting and getting those kills and then subsequently 2 runes out of it, very handy for them considering the position they were in, although they didn't get any of the bottom runes. Does really feel like VP, they haven't even come online yet. Ramses, we've yet to see that first Exorcism. His Death Prophet's just been quietly farming in bottom lane. Roger's been, quietly getting his level 6 while being involved in several kills, and VP's lineup's about to get a whole lot scarier once they've got Hookshot and Ramses active on the map.
Yeah, no one as well, right? I think Clinker, the Clockwork's probably one of the better combination heroes with the Tinker, just because you have such strong initiation and lockdown, and you just keep vision for mass, heat-seeking missiles to come in.
Yeah, and he's already got his Soul Ring now, so this is really where the fun begins for the Tinker. He can just constantly spam out the spells. Does have to be careful with positioning since he still doesn't have the Blink Dagger, but will be able to move to these lanes very easily. And despite having those 3 points in lasers, often that kind of slows down your build up to the heat-seeking missiles and that march. He's already level 9, about to hit level 10, so he's managed to get very good experience this game and not really hindered his skill build too much by getting those extra points in laser.
And while Disruptor may have maybe more tools to go up against the Wisp, mid lane, no one. He's going to be chased down by Maybe, but with the TP coming in, he's going to commit the Remnants, but doesn't quite kill no one, and now he's going to be roared up underneath the tower. And that sort of play right there all comes down to just kind of the lead that VP were able to get in the laning phase. Just one less level on that Tinker, and he dies in that dive.
Yeah, exactly. Or even one more level on the Ember. But
True.
He's in a very rough spot with that death. Was kind of all in. FY at mid, going to go down. Oh, no, Tinker decides not to TP in. He had the kill on FY. I guess he doesn't want to throw his life away to Ame. That is a level 7 gyrocopter, so smart call from no one, even though it did look very tempting to get that free kill.
Ooh, not sure what that was. A solo smoke up from X-Nova. That being said, if he does catch anybody with a paralyzing cast, the run in bottom lane, Rupture on no one. They do have the, the whole team. Whole team caboodle comes in from LGD. They relocate, the Ember Spirit, everything to kill the Tinker.
Yeah, IO relocate actually pretty good spell to have against Tinker this game. All it takes is one hero to find him. A Rupture or a Ember with a Searing Chains, stop his Blink Dagger, which he doesn't have yet, or just catch him out, and then you can just relocate in 2 heroes to make sure you secure those kills. So nicely done by LGD, who definitely can still play this game even from behind. All it's going to take is a few nice little ganks and rotations. They've got this Bloodseeker Blade Mail almost complete. Ember's also going for an early Blade Mail. Tinker's not going to have much fun fighting Blade Mails. Even a very good item against Death Prophet with the Spirit Siphon and being reflected as well by this Blade Mail. Kind of stops him from healing up a bit.
Shot in, grabs the Bloodseeker. They do manage to finish off the tower and jump away on Maybe. They're going to leave Chalice to die. Ame needs to get out, but he didn't get the signal. Maybe was already on his way out, but Ame moves forward. That means he'll also die in this engagement. LGD, they should have just been able to accept that the Bloodseeker dies for the tower and get out, but Virtus.pro, they claim the extra kill and might be able to go back in. They're going to try and catch Ramses here. Missed out on the chains. Still, though, probably for the best. This is not an engagement that you want to take, especially with the Tinker coming back in. Heat-seeking missiles swarming in, going to poke and prod at LGD as they try and escape. Solo maybe just walked out a little bit too far. Maybe he's going to try and turn on him, get some damage out. They do have the Rupture out on Rogers. He tried to wrap all the way around, gets his cogs down, but he is very dead from the Maledict.
Nicely played to kind of hold their ground, using the high ground there on the retreat. It was a overextension, sticking around for that tower, losing the gyrocopter in the process, but VP thinking they're a whole lot stronger, and rightfully so. Chased a little bit too far. Tinker without a Blink Dagger just can't keep up.
Once again, Solo's going to be caught by Maybe, but does manage to get the Ice Path out. Ramses chasing down FY at the same time. Exorcism should be enough. They lose support for support, but Exorcism was blown by Ramses, and he can't afford to die here. They're going to have the Gyrocopter try and man up with Bloodright, easily taking him down. That Blade Mail from Chalice is now here. And while they take that one, Rogers going to try and reinitiate, seeing that Chalice is quite low with the Battery Assault, might be able to catch him, but the chains separates him, and now he's going to be kited around a little bit. Takes a lot of Bloodright damage. It's actually Pasha, who already has the Shadow Amulet.
Really heads-up play from Chalice. This Blade Mail is an item where you can just kind of run in, and it's a pseudo BKB in a way. If they turn and fight you, they're going to melt. At the same time, the alternative is you kind of just run away, and you can't easily run away from a Bloodseeker Ember. They're going to just chase you down. Gyrocopter gets a great cooldown, so able to burst down Ramses, who can't really rely on Spirit Siphons defensively against a Blade Mail.
That gold lead has now been diminished to only 2,000 for VP, and there is a lot of big stacks up right now for the Gyrocopter to farm.
Feels like Pasha after this lane stage has been a bit quiet.
Yeah. Just trying to get that Shadow Blade. Feels like he's playing more of a farming game, since he does have Roger, who had such a successful laning phase in early level 6. He could probably take up a lot of the ganking role of this game.
Yeah, and it's going to enable his teammates by farming up this Shadow Blade, particularly the Tinker, because you go around Shadow Blading, find a kill, you summon your boar, and suddenly Tinker can TP in for these kills.
They're going to try for a kill right here. Chalice does manage to get the Rupture onto Pasha. He runs out of the Bloodright, though. Chalice returns a lot of damage with his Blade Mail, but he's still very much threatened by this. Hook shot on the extra hero. They're going to try and get greedy with them, see if they grab Ame and Chalice. Chalice TP's away, though, but Ame will die.
Both Tinker and Clockwork getting very low there.
Oop, FY managed to get out. Now Ember Spirit jumps in with a Remnant, collects the Clockwork kill, and could try and grab Solo as well. Has it chains up in 1 second. Now it's going to be Silence. Has to dance around that Ice Path. Flame Guard is still up, though. Here
Timber
comes.
coming back in means you kind of have to back off.
Yeah, our Witch Doctor's going to be feeling the brunt of that one. Ice Path doesn't land because maybe cancels his TP to be able to dodge away, but now he has no out, no remnants, no mana, and no hope, it seems. Caught by Ramses. And looks like our Witch Doctor's probably going to die as well. Tried to pop the smoke to be able to dodge that last missile. Still, though, the missile wasn't enough thanks to the Voodoo Restoration, so it's a wasted smoke. Chalice is coming in. See if he can rupture onto Ramses. Now, Ramses does have a TP, so a little close, but he does make it out.
Good call from Ramses just to get himself out of there. Very action-packed game here. VP getting the better of LGD in that team fight there, particularly with the Ember going down. Does complete his Maelstrom, so we will see maybe's farm start to accelerate as well as see a big boost in his damage output. He desperately needs more levels though right now. Having just that level 1 Sleight of Fist, he kind of remnants in to chase down for kills, but the remnant alone wasn't a big enough gap close. He needed the Sleight of Fist plus Searing Chains as well, and on a 30-second cooldown, it's very hard to use that.
Roger catching Ame. Mass heat-seeking missiles coming in. A hook shot just to make sure that X-Nova can't get more Death Ward damage onto Roger with a Maledict, so they won't trade any heroes out.
Roger is just everywhere. He's in every kill, it feels like at this point. He gets an Invis Rune, initiates on one, hooks the other. It was the same kind of story as bottom lane where he manages to maximize his efficiency to guarantee these extra kills.
And he's still keeping up with FY on net worth, even though FY has been spending a lot of his time farming up the jungle. He's been stacking for himself and then using the spirits. You can see him, he's got Urn, Soul Ring, as well as Buckler trying to get that faster mech up.
Yeah, he's got 35 last hits as an IO, and something to scoff at as LGD try and slow down and stall this game. Definitely something they need to do given the state of both Gyro and Ember. A little bit under-farmed and under-leveled. Ame desperately needing a BKB, and Ember has a Blink Dagger queued up, wants these extra levels in the Sleight of Fist.
Here comes the Exorcism push, with Ramses still holding on to half duration of a Haste Rune. Bloodright always makes it difficult to push into a tower, but heat-seeking missiles also make it really hard to defend a tower. So Virtus.pro actually win that ground, take the tier 1 tower. LGD retreat with nothing gained.
This is where the Blade Mails don't feel so good when Tinker's just sitting far back spamming you. Yeah, you're going to get him down to about a quarter HP, but you're not threatening his life. He's always going to be able to just stop throwing them, TP back to base, heal up. Meanwhile, Bloodseeker loses 3/4 of his health and he's forced back to Fountain. So Blade Mails feel good when you're playing aggressive running at Tinker, but not when you're trying to defend your towers.
Getting that point where LGD, they really need a good smoke pick off on the Tinker or something and take back some map control, because they are very rapidly getting crowded in by this Tinker, pushing in all the side lanes while we've pretty much got 4 different heroes on the side of VP who can all be hunters and team fighters. You got a Shadow Blade, a Beastmaster, and a Clockwork Hookshot. It feels like at any moment in this very dark map of yours from LGD, you could get hookshotted in and just heat-seeking missile spammed by a Tinker and just go down.
Yeah, and on the side of VP, a team commonly praised for their warding. They have got fantastic vision. 2 wards in the top jungle, a ward near the bottom jungle, as well as in the bottom lane, and the Hawk for vision. They see absolutely everything except this smoke, though.
They're going to run into the Wish Gyrocopter, though. That's the perfect heroes to run into. They immediately Primal War. FY, oh no, the Hawk! It was in the way. Roger tried to pick up the Gyrocopter. Now, LGD in their smoke, they went the wrong direction, but will be in here in time to be able to catch a couple heroes. First is going to be Solo. At the same time, they had the Rupture on Pasha. No TP cancel, though. So it's only going to be that 1-5 position support. That feels terrible if you're Virtus.pro.
Yeah, they did a 3-man smoke toward the road jump in. And IO plus Gyro, they're the follow-up. They want those 3 heroes to run into cores, ideally. They're the ones who want to start in the fight, because then IO or Gyrocopter are going to be the ones relocating in. They're the follow-up. But IO Gyro getting ran at, those 3 heroes, they don't have that instant mobility. They can't get to that fight. So all they get out of it is a hero kill. You're losing an IO there, and you're lucky not to lose a Gyro.
And it's all thanks to that wall of vision that is really helping Virtus.pro get some ideas about where LGD isn't, and process of elimination where the Gyro and Wisp are farming.
Yeah, when you've got that much vision, your smokes are actually very obvious in a way because you don't see any heroes on any lanes or leaving the base. It becomes very apparent when your opponents have actually smoked up, despite the fact you don't actually get eyes on them.
It also makes counter warding easier because there's a limited amount of the map that LGD are playing on right now, so they're probably going to have defensive vision. Sure enough, Virtus.pro, they find a couple of these wards, take them out. The map gets darker and darker for LGD. So 19-13, 6K gold lead right now for Virtus.pro, and they do have that scary late game Tinker. A Tinker lineup, though, just to give a ray of hope for LGD, a Tinker lineup late game may be really strong, but it's still a Tinker lineup, right? It's still a lineup where you lose your Tinker twice in a game, you could just be game over.
Yeah.
So LGD, I don't think they wanted to be able to go late game, but anything's possible.
Definitely one of those volatile heroes where you're kind of playing on a razor's edge as far as trying to maximize your damage out. But against lineups with catch, and the Ember Spirit definitely provides enough catch. It's got a Blink Dagger now, so very easy to go fishing
Good
for.
rocket flare, spawning out the Bloodseeker. Pasha is going to be able to get the roar out on X-Nova, but the paralyzing cast already set up. They managed to get the pull back with the relocate, but with the call down of Ame, he's tearing apart these heroes. He's going to go for Pasha first. Ramsey's ruptured up, so he can't really go anywhere against the Gyrocopter BKB. He is definitely dead, so no exit to them for his second life, and no one, oh, he's in trouble as well. Maybe just managed to chase him down with the Ember Spirit. Ame's going to be able to run him out as well. What a big fight for LGD. And it was off of Virtus.pro. They're the ones who initiated. They're the ones who found the Bloodseeker in the first place.
Yeah, and they grouped up in this very narrow corridor, which allowed the Gyrocopter to get the perfect three-man cooldown, flaks through absolutely everybody. Ame just destroys them in that team fight, and they use way too much on a Bloodseeker who just gets relocated out. Great play from FY's Io. He gets the pull out, and then even when he, after 10 seconds, he still escapes.
You can see that corridor. I mean, the paralyzing cast just locked those two, Pasha and Roger, together forever, long enough for Ame to come in. And FY just had such a very sick play there, canceling his tether on the Gyrocopter and relocating Chalice out instead. Hook shot in. They're going to be able to grab X-Nova here now. Roger is going to be, well, he's going to be ruptured, blood-righted, and maledicted, but thankfully a Glimmer Cape makes it pretty easy. Pasha, Eul's Scepter out from the Tinker, slowing down Chalice. He does have a BKB. They do have the Primal Roar, though, to hold him in place a little while longer. Chalice pops his Blood Right and scares away some of the heroes from VP, making sure they can't actually chase, but instead they'll just get a little bit of damage on the tier 2. Ame wrapping her in from behind here. He's going to be able to spot Ramses. Ramses immediately pops Eul Scepter on him to try and disengage. Ice Path lands on a couple of heroes as well. Again, warding back LGD so they can play the long-range Tinker game.
Yeah, despite one good team fight for LGD, it's still VP in control. Their lineup takes objectives and initiates so well, making it very difficult for LGD to move anywhere unless they're moving as 5. You can't even do that like 3-2 split you like to with Io because it's so easy for them to jump on this Io, scout him out. The vision, the Hawk, as well as the warding makes it very hard for FY to play just around this Gyrocopter elsewhere on the map. Good news is Io about to hit level 15. That Scepter bonus for Gyrocopter is going to make a big, big difference this game.
Yeah, that is a gigantic upgrade. I think that's why Gyrocopter is probably the best pairing with the Wisp right now. It feels about as iconic now as the old Wisp Chaos Knight was. You know, like this is the power duo of the current meta.
Yes. They did not hesitate to second pick a Gyrocopter despite this hero not having the best results here at the Supermajor. And so far it's been a rocky early game for LGD, as we've seen for most Gyrocopters, but that can very quickly turn once this Io gets that much-needed level 15. And for VP, they're going to be a little bit worried about that coming online. They've got several BKBs on their side, queued up at least. The Death Prophet with his, and the Beastmaster partly through building his own one. We'll see where things go next for them.
Pasha on the hunt. Here comes that Boots of Travel Tinker play, but Ember Spirit has already jumped away. He's going to be hit, though, by Solo, his Flame Guard. Going to be running low. X-Nova spots out Pasha. Does manage to get a good paralyzing pass. Bouncing back over to Pasha. Pasha does manage to get off the Primal Roar, though, onto Ame with Ramsey on top of the Exorcism. Ame, he needs to be able to get out of here. FY keeps him alive for now. Ramsey just isn't fast enough to be able to catch these heroes, so they're going to relocate out. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Chalice thought about going for Roger, but now it's going to be the other way around. If he's not careful, hides in trees, hoping to be able to cut down with Dwelling Blade, find some sort of out, but Ramses and no one They know where he's hiding. They will hunt him down.
Yeah, Io wasn't quite level 15 there. I don't know if it would have mattered anyways. It felt like VP were just running over them with the BKB Death Prophet Exorcism. They just couldn't fight. And something it starts to feel like LG need to do is make plays when Exorcism is down. That's the big cooldown for VP. If you can find a way to smoke, get a jump on them when Exorcism is down, they're going to be a whole lot weaker.
And I think a little bit of a problem is, like, Ember Spirit is good catch, but they don't have an active hunting hero, you know, to be able to take advantage of this time. It's their Bloodseeker is their weird 3 position sort of hero, right? It's just basically a third core, a third scaling hero. Yeah,
and when you're in that position, it kind of means your resort for hunting is just going for smokes. So, like, Ember plus Witch Doctor smoke ganks while Io Gyro farm. And we've seen that just not really work out too well for them. It's not really reliable. It's very low uptime because you've got to have a smoke. It's way inferior to like a Beastmaster with a Shadow Blade, a Clockwork who has Hookshot and a very long range initiation. VP just have much easier ways to make plays, and Death Prophet ulti's down, and you see LGD not even trying to move around the map to find ganks because, yeah, like you say, there's just no good hunting heroes.
They're going to try and pick up mass Lincolns, though. The Ember Spirit as well as the Gyrocopter are both picking up Lincolns, it seems, and FY is trying to complete the Guardian Grease. Does have the mech plus the level 15, which is a big power spike for these heroes. Looks like we are going to go for that 3-man smoke that you were just talking about. Exorcism still on cooldown for 25 seconds.
Yeah, they have a decent ward in this, around the Ancients. They don't see too much, but they should be able to get a good jump here.
They spot the Death Prophet. Can they actually jump him and blow him up? Well, Hawk is going to spot some of these heroes, and they're not going to get that initiation they were craving.
It's not just the lack of hunting here, it's the lack of instant disable.
Yeah.
You actually can't go into Death Prophet. You Searing Chainsaw, you just BKB.
Hook shot on Ame. Relocate out from FY. Will take him just not very far. They may still want to try and fight this one. They have a shrine to be able to play off of, so they can heal up and go back in at full HP, or maybe they'll just leave FY to his doom. No, they actually does bring him back. The Gyrocopter with the BKB popped. He's going to go for Roger first. Missile out on him with a good call down. The rest of VP are just leaving that support behind. No one's even TPing back to the base to get the full heal. But still, LGD blew a lot for that to only kill a Clockwork. There's nothing that says VP can't still fight this 4 versus 5, so they got to be careful. They do spot the Death Prophet. BKB turn around, but a BKB activated by Chalice as well. The Blade Mail already out, slowed down by the Primal Roar. Does manage to get off the Dual Scepter on Ramses and heals a decent amount. They have to be careful with the heat-seeking missiles, though. As the fight prolongs, it gets more and more dangerous for LGD.
They managed to kite around that Exorcism incredibly well. They bait out the BKB there.
Tinker. Dual Scepters himself. Is he too far forward? And can LGD actually catch up to a triple remnant? Not going to be enough. The Black Cannon shots, though, they catch up to him. No one. Uncharacteristic overextension by him. Feeds away his life, and Exorcism is down. What a perfect timing for LGD.
Yeah, we'll see what they can get at this one. Even just a mid-tier 1 tower at this stage feels like a decent win for them. It's a 1,000 gold difference between the teams after those bits of play, and all of a sudden, it's Ame, top of the net worth by 1,000 gold. Almost complete a Lincoln Sphere. This is going to start to feel like an unstoppable Gyrocopter at a certain point. Even with all these defensive items, his damage up with the free Axe upgrade with the Maelstrom is just
They got the Rupture on him. Can X-Nova? No, that Paralyzing Cast will never reach there in time. Still, it's a low enough cooldown on Rupture. And honestly, it's less than the TP cooldown, right? So it's actually worth it.
One of these bounty runes, Chalice will get chased away, though.
Dual Scepter slowing him down. Ramsey's back. So, hookshot coming in from Roger. They are going to try and fight this one. BKB activated, though, and TP out will save Chalice's life.
Feels like LGD not really using their BKBs in the most efficient ways. Like, it was this Gyrocopter BKB when they relocated back in just to get a Clockwork. Bloodseekers had to defensively BKB. He's already down to 6 seconds, and you think, like, when did he BKB and win them the team fight? Never really, but that's just the nature of this game. You're going to have to pop these BKBs very early on. We've seen it from both sides, really. The Death Prophet as well in the mid lane had to BKB and didn't get anything out of it.
Pasha, he knows the Wiz has to be nearby because the Gyrocopter can't be alone in the bottom lane. The Tinker is TPing in, but
Spirits.
Yeah, the Spirit Balls, it gave FY the heads up and played it a little bit back.
Definitely one of the nice parts about the IO against these invis hunting heroes that try and hunt you down, and the big part why it just doesn't feel like these, Clinxes and Beastmaster Shadowblade, Nyxes even always counter the IO because he can scout them coming through invis with the Spirits.
Xnova going to get a good Tinker ward down, as well as a potential Beastmaster trap. As he may Shadow Blade in through, maybe he doesn't find anybody, he'll play on that right-hand side, wait for his Shadow Blade to reset. So this vision could be crucial to fighting for this Tier 2's life, but Tier 2's just going to drop because Jakiro does so much objective damage.
Yeah. No deny as well, as LGD trying to bait their Gyrocopter bottom, but VP smart enough to realize they should never be initiating on this Gyrocopter. His survivability with the IO always sitting behind him. It's just something they can't burst through, and even if you take him out of the fight, there's always going to be that last resort relocate save as well.
What do you think about this max disable build from the Tinker? No one opting for Yules into now the finally completed Scythe of Ice, a fresh item for the Tinker.
It's a good way to deal with this frontline Gyro, because even if you're not killing him through the IO heals, you're making sure he's doing less damage. You can just kind of chain disable him. Similarly with the Ember, it gives you some good lockdown and control. With that said, these Lincoln Spheres on both Gyro and Ember are going to be a useful tool, but tools that can very easily be broken this game.
Yeah, certainly. Though no one doesn't have something like an Ether Lens, so he doesn't have that like long range pick on the Lincolns.
Hex always feels like the best item in these like 50+ minute games. We're far from that stage yet, but this game feels like it's going there. You definitely always want to have like 2-3 hexes in ultra late game Dota.
And that's the dangerous part right there, that, oh, Chalice in mid lane, got hook shotted up. They do have the Rupture out. Maybe actually came in from the side. Pasha pops his own BKB, gets the roar out, pushing the heroes away from the clockwork so he can successfully TP out. Now Ramses came in, managed to hit a good 2-man silence. He's gonna blink forward, straight on top of Chalice. No, FY though, keeping alive a little bit longer, but now he doesn't have a tether for his other carries. So Ame, he has to back out, pop a BKB of his own. FY tether up in 3 seconds. They see the call down opportunity to go back in. Ame gets those black-handed shots out, getting a lot of damage onto Ramses. It's gonna be a close call, but the Ice Path that holds him in long enough and he survives. Ramses finally goes down, but they kill Ame first. Chalice, as well as maybe with the buybacks, will clean up that team fight though. Virtus.pro die with 4.
Wow, they committed hard for that fight. The Gyro there looked like he was going to be in a bit of a pickle once the IO didn't have tether up because he used it on the Bloodseeker who still died. And despite all that, it was VP, just BKBs run out, and once that happens, the Ember Spirit was kind of going ignored in that fight. VP threw everything towards the Bloodseeker and then the Gyrocopter, and as a result, Ember is just able to clean up the fight. The Maelstrom level 20. Okay,
Roger. Your timing is a little off there, my friend. Roshan's still plenty healthy.
Does force the Roshan clap, but that does not get them low enough.
And some mass tipping for Roger. I love that both of the scenes, the Western and the Eastern scenes, are full on in the tip game.
Yes, they've entirely embraced it, particularly the top dogs of both regions.
We may not speak the same language, gods, all the time, but we all speak Dota, apparently. We're going to see that replay. They just overextended into this tiny little corridor area, and Ame was just like, that is perfect.
I think they saw the Gyro and knew that he was vulnerable with the IO tether being wasted, but then it comes back into play just soon enough. Gyro's just dishing out all the damage he can before he dies, and the Bloodseeker buyback. He is just Sonic here with the movement speed and damage from everyone being as low as they were. Really good, clever buyback from Chalice.
And no one without like a Dagon, he doesn't have that immediate threat on anybody, right? He can't just blow somebody up. He was disabling the Ember Spirit in some of that fight, but he wasn't getting much damage into him, and I think he eventually just ran out of mana, or maybe he was just threatened by Chalice or something and had to blink and TP out.
We're also seeing like this gap in LGD's lineup where they don't have good initiation or control, really, is being made up for by having this insane mobility. Bloodseeker incredibly fast, Gyro with the phase boots and the IO backing him up is just really hard to bring down as well. Ember Spirit has the mobility of his ultimate, and that means they're able to kite around the VP BKBs. It feels like anytime the Beastmaster and Deathrock are BKBing, LGD are able to disengage and then re-engage with the BKBs down and clean up these kills.
I'm a little bit surprised that Pasha isn't going for like a halberd or something. It's just a Lincoln's Breaker. Oh, he's getting 4 staff. Never mind.
I love that item against Gyro regardless at this stage of the game. Being able to just disarm him sounds like a very handy tool to have, and the Lincoln's Break is much needed as well.
Instead, going for the cheaper Lincoln's Breaker and the 4 staff, but won't give you the same kind of scaling power for sure.
Interesting from Solo committing a smoke to get wards down.
look at him, man. He just can't do anything about this gyrocopter, who first of all has the Lincolns, hit by the ice path, but FY is always lurking nearby, ready to go with the relocate out if Ame's in trouble.
It was like the Fluff and stuff used to always do that. Just does these solo 5-position smokes, gets down like 3 wards for his team.
X-Nova spotted as the rocket from the Clockwork drifted overhead. X-Nova had a nice little positioning there to maybe catch the Death Prophet when she tried to farm up that mid-wave, but Roger to the rescue, it seems. And now the full Mjolnir for the gyrocopter. That completes the effect of this tether Ags bonus.
Oh, wow. Chalice has a nullifier on Bloodseeker now. These BKBs that VP have relied on suddenly can be countered. Not to mention, they don't have like the Lincoln Sphere-esque items.
All right, well,
Bye
just
bye,
run into X-Nova while he's trying to get some wards down. No big deal.
He didn't smoke for the wards. I'm not sure you want to be committing smokes at this stage of the game, but VP, I think, really valuing that vision.
Yeah.
Considering they're the ones who have the better patch. You need vision to play around your patch. Whereas for LGD, it's, you know, you're gonna have to play around these 5-man with smokes and forcing objectives.
Right. This Tinker is gonna be. I mean, it's a Tinker game, first of all, so it's always a game that you naturally have to carry, but a lot of eyes on him. It's the bottom lane. Pasha gets away with his BKB invis.
Yep. Feels like both teams struggling to make successful moves right now. VP largely because they don't want to get too aggressive into the Sages and Cheese, but for LGD, they lack that key initiation, and that's why maybe is going to be going for a Scythifice. He recognizes this late game gap that they're going to have. They've managed to play around it so far, but it's just going to get harder and harder for them as time goes on if they don't have this hard initiation, which he's going to look to provide.
Yeah, between his Scythe and then the Bloodseeker's Nullifier, there is a lot of threats on board now against the No One Tinker. Whereas, you know, good 15 minutes ago, you felt like this VP squad with the Tinker behind it was just going to take over the game. Pasha spotted out by Sentry laid by X-Nova. He does have the Ember Spirit nearby, as well as a Gyrocopter Wisp. Now he's going to come forward, man. He's going to chain a couple heroes. Exorcism goes out from Ramsey as he pops BKB inside. X-Nova's going to be dealt with by Pasha, but the important thing is whether or not the Gyrocopter and Wisp can win this fight. They're trying to chase down some of these heroes, but successful TPs and blinks away leaves them with nothing but sand in their hands. Instead, they get the Beastmaster for killing X-Nova's Witch Doctor, and they'll push for a tier 2.
Yeah, still a decent fight, even though they don't get those big cores. And Exorcism down is actually the big cooldown here. LGD don't have that cooldown they have to play around. Perhaps just their BKBs. They want to push forward, but pushing forward into a Tinker, they'll be quickly reminded just how painful that can be. So 2 heroes down with no buyback, and potentially you can't even get a tier 2 tower.
Blood Raged and Tethered. That is a scary Gyrocopter, man. That just means pretty much he's getting damage amplification and attack speed. And the downside of Blood Rage is pretty much covered by the overcharge of the Wisp.
Yep.
He also gives you damage reduction. So
that actually sounds ridiculous. And that's the kind of, maybe not forgotten part about Bloodseeker, but definitely the underrated part where he's able to beef up his cores. That we saw the Bloodseeker Zeus in one game. Here is kind of talked about more as like the slot counter. He's really strong when everyone's getting low because of this AoE damage, but he's going to get everyone a lot lower if he can give his Gyrocopter Blood Rage for that flak attacks. And we've seen Chalice have a very good time in some of these team fights. Definitely a player who's adapted very well. Gone from this like sacrificial 1v2, 1v3 offlane player who just seems to always have a rough time into actually being a farming playmaker. He's played Mirana this turn, he's playing a Bloodseeker here, and done incredibly well on these heroes.
yeah, I felt like maybe just because of his limited experience or something, when they first got brought on, it was such a limited strategy that they gave him. But very clearly, when the first time that they gave him Clockwork and Axe, he, from an individual perspective, knows the in and outs of those heroes, and he can perform really well. Maybe they just didn't feel comfortable with the overall strategy of running Chalice with that. But now, it's an LGD that looks a lot more diverse than just 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, when you can have a 3-position player who's playing like the typical team fight, tied underlords, but as well as playing these farming carry-esque heroes, these true tri-core lineups, that is a great ability to have for flexibility in your draft. You're able to just do so much more. And a game like this, where you feel like you need that third extra carry in the late game, you can just bust it out. You see this Tinker, you know this game's going to drag out. Well, let's get a bit greedier. And it is looking definitely winnable for LGD, although there is still a lot of questions about how do you actually kill this Tinker. The volatility of having to kill the Tinker once, he buys back, killing him again, is there, but that only exists to the extent you can actually kill him those 2 times.
Bit of bartering between Chalice and FY. They swapped the cheese and gems. Now, Chalice going to be holding on to that, and then we'll have the big boost of heal available from not just the Guardian Greaves, but also the cheese on this Wiz. So these team fights are going to be, they feel like a nightmare for Virtus.pro, and LGD, they don't have any pressure on them. Like, it feels like they can just chill out and farm some more and more and more and more. Eventually, they'll get a pick off on the Tinker, thanks to now a Cycle Vice on the Ember Spirit. He's got his level 25 as well, so Remnants are going to be constantly up for him.
As it feels like with all these IO games, it's often a question of can you jump and kill the IO, and I would say right now it feels like the answer is decidedly no.
Well, there is no BKB piercing disable on the side of LGD, so Pasha runs into the smoke, TV's out.
It's been an ongoing problem. Even like an instant disable that can stun them before they pop.
All right, no one's going to try and make the big play here. He needs to be able to disable FY at the same time. Lock down both of them. Solo's here, but it's just not going to be good enough. Now the hook shot comes in. They're still going to be fine, though, as this is going to be a very tanky Ame. He still has a Satanic to be able to work with. Paralyzing cast stops that TP out, and maybe will catch out Solo as well. No one, he thought he can make the big solo Tinker plays, but it's not even close. He gets quickly rebuffed.
And he can't blink away. That's the great thing. The second IO tethers Gyro, he gets the Axe bonus, he gets the attack out onto the Tinker, and, well, your Blink Dagger's broken. That gank just gets turned around. Very silly play to go for that kill. And now they can force out that first Tinker buyback. We talked about having to kill him twice. Well, Tinker just gave him a freebie the first time. The question is, can LGD kill him the second time? Because that's how they secure the win.
And the Satanic as well, right? Even if he doesn't activate it, just the Axe bonus will give him a decent amount of lifesteal to work with. Here comes those flat cannon shots. They do see the Jakiro, so he will end up die backing here. 95 seconds.
That was the Blood Rage Gyro. Just destroying him with that extra damage and a 12k gold lead all of a sudden. Just taking a T3 tower, but that allows him to fall back, take out these shrines, perhaps play around the next Roshan, which will be the third Rosh of the game. So Refresher Shard in the mix.
Here's just another layer of synergy for you, gods. Think about this, right? You get the initial, like, 1 or 2 flat cannon shots in with the Blood Rage doing so much damage. If these heroes drop low enough, you then have vision of them, thanks to the Bloodseekers. You can't get away from the flat cannon shots.
It's actually crazy how well this draft is going to come together in some ways. In some areas, the hard initiation, it's been a bit lacking, and they have had to rely on, it's been VP's over-aggression that has gotten LGD a large number of their kills. The Tinker at bottom, the play around the Roshan pit earlier, where they just went a bit too hard chasing down Ame on his gyrocopter.
Virtus.pro. To get back into this game, they need to be able to make sure Roshan doesn't go down, but Ramses gets caught trying to make his way over there. BKB activated, but he's already down low. HP maybe might be able to catch him out. A Yule Scepter dodged out the missile. Ramses Remnant in, that maybe will be able to finish him off, and Ame deals with everyone else in style. Posh pops BKB. The physical damage is too much from LGD now, and it's left once again only in no one's Tinker's hand to try and hold this game.
This Ame Gyro in the front lines is just the end-all be-all of raid bosses. There is no answer to him. He doesn't quite find the Tinker. He's still chasing after him with the Remnants, but it will be wasted efforts as they will not catch him. However, they will be able to secure some bounty runes and Roshan off of this, I imagine. They're not going for them the Rosh immediately.
No one will try and keep one of these lanes pushed in to Virtus.pro's side of the map. But Ember Spirit will deal with top while they're doing Roshan still. It's still 2 out of 3 lanes comfortably in position for LGD.
LGD seem to have all the answers at this stage through their itemization, as well as some of these like late game levels. Like FY, he's going to be unkillable because he's going to have a BKB. So the one hero that could theoretically catch him, the Tinker, and burst him down, well, how do you do that when he's got double cheese and BKB? The cheese does have a 40-second cooldown. I think something that players kind of forget sometimes when they stack them up. But FY is near unkillable. That means Ame's unkillable. If you're not killing the IO, you're not killing the gyro. And then Witch Doctor is getting this key Lotus Orb. So Tinker can't even reliably like chain hex people because of the Lotus Orb. He's just going to end up hexing himself.
Yeah, I love this. Sounds like you're saying, like this itemization from LGD and then the synergy between these heroes in the lineup. It's just such a cool idea that LGD have brought to this game 1 against Virtus.pro. And you need that kind of next level thinking to beat a team like VP.
Yeah.
So hearts being drawn on the map, Roger giving away kisses, but they're also currently giving away the game. So LGD have a solid 18K gold lead.
Yeah. It is, like, it's an unorthodox draft. I think if you see most teams draft something like LGD have, you'd be questioning it. Like, where's the initiation? Where's the ability to take objectives?
Well, next Nova run. Meanwhile, Death Prophet also being run down. BKB TP out. It's a close call, actually. The physical damage is so big. The Blood Rage. Primal Roar comes out. They do manage to finally spot X Nova, who is in an awkward position. But that's not important. The important thing is the Death Prophet's dead, and you're going to have a Gyrocopter knocking on your base.
Without buyback as well. LGD look to break through the high ground. Pasha's just split pushing, which is probably the best thing he can do at this point. The rest of LGD will try and take the mid lane of Rax.
All right, this is just unfair. Double damage, Blood Rage, Gyrocopter, who's got Aegis, Satanic, and Refresher, so we can have Satanic BKB on his second life as well to relocate in to the bottom lane. Pasha, he'll fare a little bit better than that Death Prophet against that damage.
Are you ready for a cap? IO's 25. It's happening.
Oh, no.
This is the ultimate cheese. It got moved from level 20, so that it was a nerf to the IO plus gyro, but I feel like this health regen level 20 was a buff, but
trying to slow down Solo.
Boop. I look forward to seeing FY suddenly becoming a carry at level 25. Would love to see some right-click damage on him.
Yeah, well, now this is the point where you build into like Desolator, right?
Yes.
To give the added value modification.
I've seen a lot of Deso on this level 25 IO, and with the Gyrocopter, it's just insanely powerful. There's a lot of problems.
Chalice doesn't need to play his game anymore. He just Blood Rages Ame and he Blood Rages FY in these fights. True. I think that's his entire job now.
No. Consider Blood Raging Somnus on the Ember, but I enjoy the idea of a Blood Rage IO a whole lot more.
If he gets the Deso, it's definitely a go.
Yeah. Don't get the relocate for that.
Please.
I'm done with Dota FY.
Oh my God! Come on, FY.
What are you thinking?
It's a 50-minute whisk game. It all leads up to that talent, and you just blue balled us.
Yeah. Like, somebody take away the win. Like, come on, LGD.
All right. Well, if LGD.
Once FY I was a fan, today it betrayed me.
Vici Gaming FY wouldn't have gone for that. He would have gone for the flashy play.
Absolutely. Here's the relocate. Looking to use that relocate. Solo relocate.
The other side of Solo while he leaves Ame behind. They sandwich him together. So now it's pretty much got, what, an 18-second downtime?
It's got an arcade ring.
Oh, even less.
It's like an 11-second downtime.
All right, well, that's one way to deal with the split push of the Tinker, though. I will give him that.
No, it's actually, for as much fun as the attack tether allies is great. The relocate cooldown, well, look, he's relocating bottom.
Roger's going to be caught.
It's a legit talent.
Yeah, for sure.
Less fun.
Oh, and maybe they can head back to top lane, Pasha. Well, he's got BKB TP. We've seen this story time and time again.
I think he just needs to buy an Abyssal now, maybe. I think there's been too many BKB TPs out. A few times they've killed them with the gyro damage output, but Abyssal Blade on Bloodseeker would actually be a pretty nifty late-game item just to give some extra control and ability to stop the TPs and the constant split push and Rat Dota that's coming out.
How do you keep these lanes pushed in? You've got a Boot to Travel Ember Spirit, and you've got this very low cooldown relocate. Like, they're literally just, like, suiciding down lanes with Beastmaster because he can BKB TP, and they've got a Tinker on their team, and it's still not even close. They're now at bottom lane. Pasha, Shadow Blades away. They're going to come back to top. And Ember Spirit will TP up there as well. So they're finally going to group up for a good push into the base.
This is post-Aegis, though, so we'll see how risky they want to take it. Tinker's damage output definitely not to be scoffed at. The Dagon 5 is pretty scary and potent at this point. all these BKBs down to 5-second duration on LGD side. Except for Gyro, who's seeing at 6. Oh, sorry, even Ember. Ember's at 8 too. So they're actually looking a bit healthier in their BKBs, but...
Nullifier would be a very big pickup for Pasha against this Gyrocopter. I'm not sure how he's going to be able to do all of these things. Somebody else has to break the Lincolns, and then he needs to roar Nullifier.
Yep.
And he's going to find a roar onto X-Nova. The relocate's coming in from behind. He needs to be able to kill this guy quickly and TP out. Not quite fast enough, though. Guardian Greaves' heal goes off, and now Pasha, well, he doesn't have a TP, so he can actually get away.
We'll have a buyback there, just hunting for these plays. It's so hard to make these gates. Even if you successfully kill the Witch Doctor, there's an instant relocate coming your way, and you're going to lose your life either way. I like that they put the gem back on FY. He's kind of the hunter right now, relocating around. The Bloodseeker just isn't as mobile, and the result is they're able to make sure they get these kills on Pasha. He's celebrating around.
Bit by bit, all the lanes have been pushed in. The Exorcism is fading away just as Chalice gets out. Meanwhile, bottom lane,
they're resorting to some split push. I think the frustration with trying to push high ground against Tinker is finally sinking in for LGD.
Relocate over to the double damage room, because why not?
I'm on board. They will probably just look to break through this bottom lane of Rax now.
Give him the Blood Rage. This is that moment. You can get any kind of vision into that high ground.
Leverage the Ember.
Here comes the flank cannon shots. Hook shot trying to interrupt some of that. And just get more Cox disabled. Blood right in the back lines does force away some of the VP heroes. Rams is quite low. Silence, and then back to the fountain he goes while the relocate heads up to the top lane very quickly. LGD, you're going to try and take 2 lanes of Rax here and finish up this Megas. Now, no one needs to be able to interrupt that one. Does manage to get the side device onto Ame. Managed to get the path out, but the relocate's coming in. FY is going to be... Oh, no! He still got off the relocate despite the Yule Scepter.
It was a relocate back. The end of his relocate. But even there, Ame was just like tanking 1,000 damage Dagons and then instantly FY's healing him up. Didn't even have to go through the 2 cheeses. Not even close to killing off the Gyro. They need to go to this IO. No one's going to go in.
He has the play mail. They can kill the IO, maybe, but Pasha, he's beating up on FY. No one finally goes down. Ame's just killing everybody. Managed to get the missile, hitting up the Beastmaster. It just does so much damage while Chalice is poking on the objectives. No one, he can't stop him in time. He may be able to kill him, but the objectives still go down, and GG is called from Virtus.pro. LGD, what a great showing from them.
Yeah, a fun little game with some unique drafting coming out from LGD, giving away the eye on the side of VP and definitely coming in to cost them.
Yeah.
I understand that VP's plan kind of was to do their typical VP thing, crush the lanes, and a hero like Gyro is very weak in the laning stage. It looked like they were winning 2 out of the 3 lanes and drawing 1, so on paper that's like typical VP game. Win the lane stage, you snowball from there, you have this DP Beastmaster draft that finds picks, takes objectives, but LGD were just kind of able to hold on and put up a good couple team fights once they got their BKBs up.
Well, I don't know what's going to be happening for the rest of this series. Will LGD be able to close it out 2-0? Will we see game 3? I don't know, but I know one thing, gods, is that we're not going to be seeing any more Wisp for LGD. Back to the panel we go to break down game 1.
Yeah, IO is the most banned hero, the most sought-after hero of this tournament, and I would say of the season. And Virtus.pro is like, what will happen if we let FY play IO? And I think we got our answer. I don't think we are going to see him play IO again anytime in the near future, unfortunately, because he is very good at that hero. Sunspin. This was a very exciting game.
Yeah, every now and then these tier 1 teams are like, you know what? We haven't played against IO in a while. We're really good.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen? Well, you can get wrecked. That's what can happen. Yeah, that hero just feels like the fact that they just changed him a bunch in the last patch. They made him better in a lot of ways, right? Just a crazy hero. Crazy hero. Yeah. And then I haven't actually seen the 60-second relocate talent in effect since we were used to seeing like Envy and whatnot. Well, when it was a 20 talent to go for that auto attack. but that's pretty freaking strong. It was like a 20-second downtime or whatever it is. Pretty insane. Not that the game wasn't over already at that point, though.
The start of the game, though, went all in the way of Virtus.pro. They were doing quite good on the lane strength.
Yeah, but here, even at this point, 33 minutes, this is where like the final, okay, this game is definitely over. Certainly needed to get ahead, just like rolling a little bit earlier, because you can see how it would work, right? You have a support that's good at focusing down towers, and you have a core as well in the Beastmaster in terms of like your 3, 4, 5 with the Clockwork initiating, creating fights, and then you have a Death Prophet with the Siege of the Ghosts. All supposed to be backed up by the Tinker, fast gameplay, get a bunch of kills, and if you look at those heroes in LGD, you don't necessarily see like, you know, the best defenders of towers and whatnot. It doesn't look that great, but they weren't quite quick enough here, and then they took over, especially Chalice. Thought he played a very good game early, very impactful with the Blade Mail right at the start.
Yeah, honestly, this game is just, you look at VP's lineup, it's just a harder lineup to win with. It's just hard to execute, whereas LGD's lineup, super easy. You got a Wisp, you just start hitting some heroes, and that's really as easy as it is. And even though no one, he just solo kills Ember twice, it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. And they were winning the lanes, and even early games, like, it doesn't matter. At some point, Tinker's going to step out and just get cut out and die, and that happened a few times. And it's just so much harder for VP to win this game.
Bulldog, if you're playing in a big tournament like this, how much do you think that it's on Virtus.pro's mind that there is a pretty big chance that they're going to face LGD again later on in the tournament, be that in the finals? Is that something that plays on a team's mind? Do they like think that far ahead in your experience?
I don't think so. Like, you just want to win this game you're playing right now, especially when you're so deep into the tournament. I'm not sure why they would be experimenting like, hey, let's give them Wisp because we're gonna meet them anyway later. But that might not be true because they're playing against really good teams. If they lose, they might play against Optic. Not sure if I would call it a very good team, but even then you have to beat Secret or Liquid maybe, and it's like you don't take it for granted. This is really hard tournament, and if you have a game against the LGD, you take your chance now.
Yeah, I think at the start of the draft, I can almost say it makes sense in the idea of like a typical Virtus.pro draft would theoretically be pretty good against an IO draft. Tends to take a little while to come online. I mean, the 15 certainly turns it around with the IO gyrocopter, but before then, it's not that massive. Obviously, it's still good. It's still IO, but you saw the second that he got that talent going and the free Aghanim Scepter, just the farm rate for Ame went through the roof. So they won that one team fight, and then when Virtus.pro were playing a bit more scared, Ame was getting completely out of control.
Yeah, for almost 46k damage for Ame, and I mean, FY, 32 assists. He's very selfless, you know, he could have taken some of those kills. No, 1 kill out of all of those.
Yeah,
only 4 deaths.
Honestly, talking about Wisp talent, you look at some other people's talent, you got like GPM, 90 GPM on the heroes, whereas IO, it's level 15, you get 4,200 gold. Most other heroes need to wait like 40 minutes to get that gold. IO just gets it.
Yep.
So, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Interesting design.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yes.
Would you think FY deserves the MVP?
Sure.
I mean, it's obviously it's an easy hero to give it to, I guess, but he did play it very well as well.
And some really big saves. For sure, that there was a mid-fight where he saved the Bloodseeker, which was really important. There was VP could have snowballed that game, and he did get those clutch saves.
Yeah, it's true. A couple times on the gyrocopter as well, just where fights could have went just a little bit off track for LGD, and he set him right back on.
Hey, he went for the tether stun talent. That's pretty OP.
Oh, got to update those.
Wow.
All right.
All right. I know everybody's saying that IO is going to be banned. I think there's a small chance that VP leaves it in again.
I agree, actually.
Yeah?
I kind of feel like they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Except VP will likely be first pick.
That's
so
true. I think they
that
don't
means
pick
LGD
it
will
true.
ban.
Yeah, that's true. Damn.
But game 3,
Damn.
if we go there, I could see it.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they're just going to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
But we'll see.
There's one extra level of competition at play here that I got pointed to while the game was going on Twitter. Thank you, Sarah Bix, for that little bit of knowledge. 7 years ago.
My goodness.
7 years
okay.
ago.
7 years ago, there was a TI finals. It was Navi versus eHome. Archstyle versus QQQ. Coaches of these two teams.
Oh, that's true.
Wow, that is
Right?
quite the throwback. All right, shout out indeed. Well
That's
done.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. You play when you're younger, and when you get old, you have to call it quits. To certain people who keep playing, you got to know when to quit. I'm not going to say any names, but there are certain older people
or you go towards being a coach?
Yeah.
Why aren't you a coach?
Interacting with people and stuff like that. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not my thing.
That explains a lot. Thank you so much. We are going to take a short break, and when we're back, it is time for the second game of the series between our superheroes, Virtus.pro and LGD.